Toyota, an iconic brand from Japan, has managed to build an empire based on several principles. When you think about it, you immediately picture reliable, practical cars that are reliable, practical, and honestly, sometimes a bit boring. The Camry, Prius, and RAV4 are reliable, efficient, and modest. Toyota is the brand of the model students, practical and nearly indestructible. That image only tells part of the story. Toyota is also a brand that sometimes steps out of its comfort zone, and when it does, it shows incredible mastery. The Toyota 2000 GT, a car that in the 1960s completely redefined what the world thought of Japanese sports cars. At the time, no one saw Japan as a country capable of competing with Ferrari or Porsche, and yet, they did it. This car deserves a video of its own, given how much it impacted the world's view of Japanese cars. Then there was the Toyota Supra, another legend that marked the 1990s. With its performance, its timeless design, and its famous 2JZ engine, a car so iconic that it's still a pillar of car culture today. And let's not forget the Celica GT4, which dominated rallies and proved that Toyota could play with the big boys even on rough terrain. These models aren't just cars, they're symbols. They show that beneath its serious exterior, Toyota can create cars that inspire dreams. That's Toyota's ambiguity, a brand known for its modesty, but capable of delivering engineering masterpieces. The Lexus LFA is the perfect example, a car so crazy, so technically perfect, that it left the whole world speechless, but it couldn't find its audience when it was released. So we're going to dive into the mystery of the Lexus LFA. How can a brand that makes icons miss out on commercial success? Let's go back a bit to better understand the history of Toyota. We're in the 1960s and Toyota announces the release of the 2000 GT. With a sleek design, a 6-cylinder engine, and impressive performance, it's a real thunderbolt in the automotive industry. This model shows Japan's expertise and challenges Europeans who believed only they excelled in this field. But after this masterpiece, it was radio silence. Toyota sets its ambitions aside, and Japan as a whole has no answer in the supercar world for nearly 30 years. But then, what did they do during those 3 decades between the late 60s and the early 90s? Japanese manufacturers focused on mass market models combining reliability, affordability, and fuel efficiency. Of course, they still had some sporty models like the Celica or even the first generation Supra, but unfortunately, none of these cars could really compete with the Ferraris or Lamborghinis of that era. That's when a sense of Japan abandoning supercars started to be felt, and not because of a lack of talent or technology, but because they took a different direction with different ambitions. Toyota aimed to meet the needs of a fast-growing market then. So let's move forward a bit. Now we're in the 90s and 2 Japanese models start to make an impression, the Toyota Supra Mk4 and the Honda NSX. The Supra, with its 2JZ GTE engine and its ability to handle monstrous power, became an icon of car culture. Meanwhile, the NSX, developed with the help of Formula 1 driver Ayrton Senna, introduced revolutionary technologies like the aluminum chassis. So you might think that Japan is finally waking up and starting to gradually catch up, but unfortunately that's not the case. Despite their quality, they don't play in the same league as European supercars. Back then, across the globe, supercars are more than dreams, they represent the status, power, and ambition of their brands. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, and even McLaren with the F1 are pushing the limits of technology and prestige. Meanwhile, Japanese car enthusiasts are waiting for a hero, a machine capable of showing the world that Japan too can produce a real supercar. And this void, left after the golden age of the 2000 GT, is becoming more and more pressing. They need to respond. A car capable of silencing all the skeptics and proving that Japan can also compete with or even surpass European supercars. And that's how the P280 project was born. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This is only my second video, so your support helps. The project's sole goal is to create a monster. That's the challenge Toyota set to push its service limits. And to carry out this mission, a very special man was chosen. A visionary engineer, passionate about technology and performance. But the road will be long, and Hirohiko knows that very well. They have to create a car from scratch with no prior experience in the field of supercars. But being more determined than ever, no matter the cost or the time required, will prove to be a major major asset. Having a visionary is great, but now he needs a strong team ready for anything. This is how the legend Hirohiko Naruse joined the team, known for dedicating his career to perfecting the handling of Toyota cars and training the best test drivers. He is a demanding perfectionist. In this project, he will make sure that the car is not only impressive on paper, but that it will deliver an incredible driving experience. What makes the development of the LFA even more impressive is the level of demands set by the team. Tanahashi and Naruse created a list of more than 500 criteria that the car would have to meet. And just so you understand better, here's an example. The V10 engine had to be as compact as a V8, as light as a V6, and reach 9,000 revolutions per minute. A unique sound, worthy of a Formula 1, and that's actually why Toyota partnered with Yamaha to achieve the perfect sound for this masterpiece. So now, at least, you understand a bit better the scale of this project. Designing a supercar is not an easy task, and for Toyota, it was a colossal challenge. In 2005, after years of development in the utmost secrecy, Toyota finally decided to unveil its ambitious project. It was at the D3 Motor Show that the brand revealed for the first time a concept of the Lexus LFA.
Lexus also unveils a supercar here. It's chasing Ferrari with this concept vehicle that will be an ultra-high performance 200-mile-an-hour supercar.
The car instantly attracts the public's attention, raising many questions while people remain skeptical about Toyota potentially challenging the European market. Toyota's internal approval for the project was uncertain. Some executives felt that the costs and time invested in the LFA were too high for a project that seemed far removed from the brand's commercial priorities. But Tanahashi and his team refused to give in, and that's when the team made a crucial decision to replace the original aluminum chassis with a carbon fiber chassis. And this drastic change, although costly and complicated, was necessary to achieve their goal of rigidity and lightness. It was certainly a risky decision, but one that would become a key element of the LFA's identity. Developments continue and we finally get to testing. Toyota must now prove the LFA can compete with the world's best cars. On paper it can, but now it has to prove it on the track. What better place than the Nürburgring, the world's toughest and most unforgiving circuit? So it's time for the team to put the LFA through miles and miles of testing to analyze and understand any malfunctions. It's a useful way to fine-tune their masterpiece. Every step, every lap, and every race brought the LFA closer to its final version. They still learned some interesting lessons from their tests. The V10 impressed spectators and drivers with its incredible sound, responsiveness, and precision. Under racing conditions, the chassis demonstrated its rigidity, allowing for flawless handling and stability. So, after a decade of hard work, our LFA is finally ready to be unveiled to the whole world. In 2010 at the Tokyo Motor Show, the Lexus LFA was unveiled in its final version. And right away, it established itself as a work of art, with its sculpted lines, perfectly engineered aerodynamics, and an almost flawless attention to detail. As you can imagine, it wasn't only the design that shocked the public. Under the hood, there's a naturally aspirated 4.8-liter V10 developed in partnership with Yamaha, and it's actually capable of revving up to 9,000 RPM. It delivers 560 horsepower and does 0 to 100 in just 3 seconds with a top speed of 325 km/h. Production is limited to just 500 units, each one hand-built by a dedicated team in a factory specially designed for this project. This masterpiece features a 6-speed automated sequential gearbox designed for ultra-fast shifts. In short, its unveiling is a resounding success. Everyone's talking about it and critics call it an engineering masterpiece. How can you think negatively when the world cheers you on?
I'll say it, this is the best car I've ever driven. That's true.
The best car I've ever driven, exclaimed Jeremy Clarkson. But coming back to reality is going to hurt, maybe even hurt a lot, and some little details are going to tip us off. It's a supercar that's not meant for everyone. With a starting price of $375,000, its price is considered high for a brand like Lexus, which is still young in the field. This price, although justified by the technology and handcrafted production, put the Lexus in direct competition with prestigious and renowned brands. For some buyers, paying the price of a Ferrari for a Lexus was unthinkable, no matter the promised performance, and all of this is based on much older fundamentals. Has Lexus always had a marketing strategy that lacked the prestige to attract our potential customers? The 500 units of the LFA are not meant for everyone. They target a very exclusive clientele, but they simply failed to generate excitement. Where Ferrari or Lamborghini highlight Despite an image of dreams and spectacle, the clients are looking for more than just performance. They seek an image, a status, and a symbol. Lexus lacks the dream factor. Its recognition isn't established or deeply rooted yet. Still, Lexus does have some strengths. For its part, a key figure in its development is none other than Hiromu Naruse, but Naruse's story is tragically linked to that of the LFA. In 2010, shortly after the official reveal, Naruse lost his life in a car accident near the Nürburgring while he was testing a prototype of the LFA, and his death was a shock for the team and for Toyota. But it also gave a more emotional dimension to the LFA, becoming a tribute to the man who had dedicated his life to its development. It was then, to honor Hiromu Naruse, that Lexus developed a special version of the LFA, the Nürburgring edition, limited to only 50 units featuring improvements designed for the track. And this model also demonstrated its capabilities by setting a time of 7 minutes 15 seconds on the Nürburgring. The Lexus LFA, despite its quiet launch and limited sales, managed to establish itself as one of the most fascinating and respected supercars in automotive history, standing out for its originality, unlike any other. Jumping ahead to today, it has found its place among the legends of its class. Today, it is seen as a sought-after collector's car among enthusiasts. Nowadays, prices on the used market even exceed $1 million.